time.
Who told you what's cringe to make, what's acceptable to want, and what version of you is safe to show without getting socially executed in the comment section? Who benefits when you're ashamed of your own hands, your own body, your own fucking imagination? And why is it always the same people screaming, "Be yourself," while handing you an anal manual on how to do it correctly? And if you create something with AI, who decided you're suddenly not an artist just because you didn't suffer enough in a garage with a broken amp and a mold allergy?
And who told you desire is embarrassing? Like, oh no, I want things. Call the police, right? Who taught you that if you're too sexual, you're weak, and if you're not sexual enough, you're broken? It's the same false narrative in different underwear, and it's always used to keep you obedient, because shame is a leash. It doesn't protect you, it trains you.
And before someone gets their panties in a twist, yes, Venomous Sin declares war is metaphorical. It's rebellion against conformity, not a literal call to arms. We're not starting a militia, we're starting a fucking nervous breakdown in your gatekeeping brain. If you need a permission slip to create, you're already normie fucked. We're here to take power back over creation, body, desire, identity, because the world's full of people selling safety like it's a product.
We have a very special guest with us tonight, our own industrial cyber goth queen from Denmark. And oh no, Chavi, don't give me any anal speak of how she created the Nixon you did and turned it into lore, you beautiful maniac.
You have to admit she's the perfect character for building that system. Why the fuck do you think I named it Enyx End? More on that later. It's true I built it, but our lore, none but Nyx could do it. Welcome to the shit show, hacker babe.
Nyx Luna, booting. All systems initialized. Targeting, comfortable lies, and kink shaming. Nyx Luna, system online. NYX end armed. Also, if you're already offended, good. That means your internal firewall is weak. Hi, I'm Nyx Luna, keyboardist, programmer, hacker, based in Copenhagen. I'm the band's digital nerve center, synth layers, backing triggers, stage tech sync, lighting timing, and yes, signal manipulation when the live system starts acting like a drunk toddler. And before you imagine some cyberpunk neon LED parody, no. Cybergoth, synthetic cyberlocks, PVC, mesh, harness, human, not biomechanical, not a robot, just better at systems than most people.
Gosh, do you have to speak like a machine? Meet Nyx Luna. She's basically the reason the stage doesn't collapse into a sad karaoke night when something glitches. And also the reason some people's egos mysteriously lose power mid-rant, allegedly. So Nyx, tell them what you actually do when we make AI music, because people talk like you press one button and then go masturbate to your own genius.
Sure. Workflow. Concept first. What's the emotion? What's the target? What's the lie we're ripping open? Then lyrics and mood. Cadence, imagery, what the voice should feel like, then arrangement choices, tempo, energy curve, where the hook lives, where we suffocate it, where we let it breathe, then iterations, lots, you kill versions, you keep fragments, you A-B like a psycho, then mix decisions, what gets space, what gets punished, what sits forward, what hides and bites later. AI is not authorship removal, it's a mirror. If you have no taste, it exposes you.
Exactly. Like the tool doesn't make you interesting. It just makes it harder to hide that you're boring. And the gatekeepers hate that because their whole identity is, I suffered more than you, therefore I'm real. Babe, suffering isn't a credential, it's trauma. And some of us already have enough, thanks.
And here's the part that makes people short circuit. We don't create to be approved. We create because we want to. And if you hate it, that's fine. Don't listen. But the minute you try to police it, you become the exact thing you pretend to fight. Gatekeeping is just insecurity with a megaphone and a fragile little halo.
Also, practical reality. Control is the instrument. People think AI means random. No, you steer, you constrain, you choose, you reject, you shape. If you can't hear what's wrong, you can't fix it, AI or not. The real skill is vision plus repetition. The tool just accelerates feedback.
Which leads into my favorite inspirational slogan to spit on, follow your passion. I mean, sure, if you want to follow it straight into a wall, because passion is fuel, not a compass. Fuel without discipline just burns. And then you sit there like, why am I exhausted and broke? while some trend fucktivist sells you a course called Monetize Your Soul in 7 days.
And it shames people for needing stability. Like if you don't quit your job and become a full-time dreamer, you're a coward. No, sometimes you need rest. Sometimes you need money. Sometimes you need time to build your skills in peace without begging the algorithm to love you. Do what you love became perform your life for strangers or you're failing.
Replace it with follow your obsession, build structure, boundaries, repetition, systems. You want power over creation? Then stop treating motivation like a magical creature that visits you when you're worthy. Schedule it, track it, iterate it. That's how you stop being dependent on validation.
And speaking of validation, Lena promised a spicy story, which means we're about to watch half the audience clutch pearls and the other half take notes. Go on, Lady Anal. Educate the shame merchants.
Fine. Quick one. Years ago, I'm in this very normal environment. People pretending they don't have bodies, like they're just floating PowerPoint presentations. Someone makes a little joke about spanking, cute, safe, socially approved kink light. And I, being me, go, do you want a ping pong paddle from the break room? Or are we just role-playing being brave? And she panics like I pulled out a chainsaw, because shame taught her that wanting is dangerous.
And that's the whole thing. People don't fear desire. They fear being seen. Because if you're seen, you can be judged. And if you can be judged, you can be controlled. Shame is basically a remote control with no batteries. Yet somehow it still works on most people.
Exactly. Desire doesn't equal weakness. Kink doesn't equal damage. And even if your kink came from damage, so what? You're allowed to process your life through your body. Shame doesn't heal you. It just makes you easier to manipulate. You hide, you comply, you shrink, and then society calls you well-behaved. Congrats, you're house-trained.
And this is where my backstory fits, unfortunately. I was the weird girl in a male-dominated space. Not cute weird, problem weird. The one who'd rather break a firewall than flirt. Boys said shit, so I retaliated with skill. Quiet revenge, files gone, notes left in binary. I learned early, competence is protection. If you're undeniable, they can't gaslight you into being nothing.
And then she hacked us, which is honestly the most romantic job application I've ever seen. Not flowers, not a CV, just your systems are weak in USB form.
I took a Venomous Sin live video and edited it, timed lighting, sound cues, cleaned the chaos into something sharp, sent it without a signature. Chavi traced it anyway, because of course he did. And then I got pulled in because I don't panic when things fail. I test, I adapt, I make the system behave.
And next, we're going to let her go full geek mode because she's been vibrating in her chair like a locked tab she wants to open. Stay with us if you're a tech head, or if you just enjoy watching someone explain control like it's foreplay.
Oh, it is. Next, triggers, latency, how I build untraceable control into the live rig, why timing is everything, why 1 millisecond can ruin a drop, and how you can make chaos look intentional. And if you've ever wondered how we keep it tight without being a boring click-track cult, yeah, that's my playground.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. What did you get shamed for wanting, making, or being? And tell me who benefits from your silence, because we're about to press Ctrl+, Alt+, Delete on a few comforting lies. Venomous Sin declares war. And today we're aiming the cannons at the insta-ghost culture. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Those digital apparitions who spend 4 hours a day perfecting a curated lie just to avoid the agonizing discomfort of looking in a mirror that doesn't have a beauty filter. It's identity as a product, packaged for people who are terrified of their own shadows. They're ghosts haunting their own lives, following some anal manual on how to be relatable while being absolutely functionally hollow. If your identity is a pixelated consensus, you're not alive, you're just a fucking rendering.
It's a literal vortex of lies, Chavi. I see these filter cunts trading their authentic scars, their real stories, for this smooth, featureless perfection that makes them look like plastic dolls. They become unrecognizable to themselves, and then they wonder why they feel empty. Well, maybe it's because you deleted everything that made you human so you could get a few likes from some #lobotomized drone. You're so busy being perfect that you've forgotten how to be real. It's anal pathetic, honestly. You're selling a version of yourself that doesn't exist to people you don't even like.
The irony is that they call AI fake while they live in a permanent digital hallucination. For us, AI music is a surgical tool. It's how we extract the raw truths that the anal manual of polite society tries to bury in the name of safety. You want to talk about authorship? Look at your own face on Instagram and tell me who the author is, you or the algorithm that told you which chin shape is trending this week. Our code has more soul than your curated brunch photos. We use the machine to expose the human. You use the machine to hide it. It's a massive system failure of the ego.
God, it's so true. They act like they're reclaiming power, but they're just following a new set of rules. That's why I own labels like Lady Anal and Mistress Macabre. I take the weapons those basement bullies try to use against me, and I turn them into tools of absolute dominance. If you call me a name to make me small, I'll wear it like a crown and make you kneel to it. These feargasmers are so busy judging my toxic desires that they don't realize they're the ones in a cage. They punish everyone else for the freedom they're too cowardly to explore. It's jealousy disguised as morality.
Kink shaming. Analysis inconsistent. Logical error detected. You claim to celebrate the body while demanding it remain silent. You preach autonomy while enforcing invisible boundaries. Hypocrisy detected. These feargasmers are malfunctioning units. They view the liberation of others as a threat to their own programmed insecurity. They do not fear the desire. They fear the loss of control. Information is being suppressed to maintain a low-resolution reality. Kink shaming is a systemic failure of logic. Corrected.
You heard the bat. It's a logical error. And that brings us to the final roast of the evening, the alpha influencer brain rot. I'm looking at you, dildo prophets and fuckfluencers. You're out here selling generic, toxic confidence to like-addicted tramps who are desperate for digital validation. It's a cult of narcissyntax. You use big words and alpha posturing to hide the fact that you don't have an original thought in your entire protein-shaking body. You're trend fucktivists. You measure your status by how much shallow content you can generate before the algorithm forgets you exist.
It's a feedback loop of pure incompetence. They post these motivational rants with perfect grammar but zero depth. Every sentence is a self-worship ritual. They preach about discipline while they're addicted to the dopamine hit of a notification. It's a digital pyramid scheme where the currency is attention and the product is air. They exploit the hashtag lobotomized masses who are so hungry for a leader, they'll follow anyone with a ring light and a script. It's not leadership, it's signal noise.
And the worst part is, the alpha narrative is just another anal manual for insecure men and women. It's a performance. You're not a wolf. You're a poodle in a wolf costume, begging for treats. Real power doesn't need a course or a hashtag. Real power is being unfuckwithable because you've looked into your own darkness and didn't blink. These fuckfluencers are just terrified children with good lighting. They sell empowerment. But what they're really selling is a leash.
Alpha narrative. Result: binary fraud. You claim strength but rely on external validation metrics. You demand respect but lack the internal architecture to sustain it. You are not a predator. You are a data point. Your narcissyntax has been analyzed and found hollow. You exploit the weak to feed a void that cannot be filled. The system is purging your relevance. Status: deleted.
Boom, deleted. Stay until the end because we're just getting started with the cleanup. Let us know in the comments, are you an Instaghost or are you brave enough to have some scars? Who told you that your desires were wrong and why did you believe them? We want to hear the truth, not the filtered version. And stick around because next week we're declaring war on the free speech wankers who think their opinion is a personality. You won't want to miss the fallout of that one. VenomousSin.com. Go get the merch before we decide to delete that too. See you in the shadows, sinners. Hold up, sinners. We're not done deleting bullshit yet. Venomous Sin didn't crawl out of some poser garage with rented amps and trust fund trauma. Nah. October 2024, Lena and me stumble on Suno after Copenhagen reunion. One night, boom, poisoned embrace drops. Our twisted love story, raw trauma, no filter. 30,000 views in a month. That's when we said, fuck the industry gatekeepers who normie fuck every artist into their beige anal manual of real music. We birthed Wounds of Shadows, bypassing every executive who'd crucifix your soul for a radio edit.
And those execs, same ones preaching authenticity while demanding you bleach your edges. But AI, it amplified our voices. No compromise, no bowing. Chavi's wrath, my scars, straight venom. No suffering for cred bullshit.
Exactly. We turned personal hell into an album overnight. Bullied kid me, abused home, Wrath of the Lord lyrics hit because they're unpolished truth. AI let outcasts like us declare war on conformity without needing permission. And Nyx, she's the hack queen symbolizing we steal digital power back from corporate overlords.
Your systems are weak, industry. I code the nerve center, synths blending industrial into metal, lights syncing to every scream. Hacker by night, I press Control-Alt-Delete on gate-kept creation. AI isn't slop, it's precision rebellion. Feed it vision, get venom, no garage, no poser cred, just results.
Gatekeepers fear what they can't control. I appear when rage peaks. Your real music? A lie I end. Seduce the norm, then vanish it.
Fuck yes. Now Lena, hit 'em with the kink-shaming hypocrites. Those faux pen-minded clowns preaching body positivity till PVC creaks or fluids enter the chat.
Oh, these feargasmers? Venom for you. They scream, love your body, until your desires creak latex or crave fluids. Then you're too much, crucified for owning strap-ons as power flips. Anal tradition, my weapon. Bullied blonde to macabre. Heels and PVC aren't likes, they're revenge on assaulters. Clitocracy enforcers virtue signal while shaming real body reclaim. Hypocrites, your shame's the cage.
Desire bears you. I lure with it, then strike. Shame? Pff, obsolete.
Comfortable lies next. These influencers peddle safe spaces that #lobotomize you into trend fucktivist drones. Curse. They gaslight trauma survivors like me. Stepdad's fists hardened into lyrics, not silence. Pussy politics demands kneel or cancelgasm. Free speech wankers hide behind screens, but live and let live unless you hurt others. Fuck your haloed obedience.
Safe spaces? Firewalls with backdoors for control. User.exe not found in those echo chambers. They suppress to maintain low-res reality.
Follow your passion scam. Lures normies to insta-slave traps. Tinder-nailed worthlessness. Preys on outcasts like pre-macabre me, chasing commissions for fake tits, till Chavi taught fight back. Venom. Dildo profit lies from content parasites measuring success in comment corpses. Our AI passion birthed Rise of Lady Macabre. No likes chased, just scars sung.
Wrap this crucifixing false narratives on identity. Venomous Sin scars the world with unfiltered truth. AI creation reclaimed. Gothic bodies unashamed. Desires unbound like Ravana's rage. Oblivion's sexy chaos. From bathroom standoff to Copenhagen poison over toxicity. Follow your venom sinners, not their lies, or get karm fucked. Drop in comments. What lie shackled you? Next, passion bullshit explodes. VenomousSin.com. Ever wonder how the next big music video could be made entirely by AI? And not that sterile corporate stock photo on crack bullshit. I'm talking about virtual characters, epic storylines, and visuals that look like they were ripped from the deepest, darkest corner of your own mind. All of it brought to life without a single human camera operator holding a coffee and complaining about the lighting. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the mind-bending, system-breaking process behind our next video. From a flicker of an idea to a finished, fucking dazzling piece of art. And we've got our resident digital nerve center, Nyx, here to crucifix the myth that this is just pushing a button.
It always starts with a feeling. A song like Poisoned Embrace isn't just chords and lyrics. It's a twisted love story. It's rage. It's intimacy that bites. So the first question is, how do you translate that venom into something an AI can see? You don't just tell it, make a goth music video. You have to give it the mood, the texture, the fucking temperature of the emotion.
Correct. The initial brainstorming is essentially prompt engineering for the soul. We start with the song's core emotion. Is it cold rage, obsessive lust, clinical despair? That becomes the visual palette. Then we build the narrative skeleton. For our characters, it's not just gothic woman in corset. It's Lena Macabre, post-betrayal, standing in a rain-slicked alley, the neon sign of a strip club she used to work at flickering behind her, reflection broken in a puddle of motor oil. You're feeding the AI a story, not a shopping list.
Exactly. And this is where most people fuck it up. They type cool vampire and get disappointed. We treat it like directing a method actor who's also a supercomputer with a severe case of ADHD. You have to be specific about the things that matter and vague enough to let it surprise you with the good shit. It's a dance between control and chaos.
Character inception is my playground. Designing Noctara, for example. She was a mistake, my face on Xavi's body prompt. A mindfuck. But we looked at her and saw Defiance, the be who the fuck you want to be symbol. So her backstory, her why, gets woven into every prompt. Her smirk isn't just a smirk. It's the smile of someone who knows she shouldn't exist, and that's her power. You feed that context in, and the AI starts to get it.
Then comes the toolkit selection. This isn't one model, it's a symphony of them. We use some for hyper-realistic character generation, others for dynamic, cinematic environments, others for specific lighting moods. It's like being a conductor for a dozen orchestras, each playing a different song, and you're trying to make them sound like one brutal symphony. The NYXN system I built manages this. It's our own command center, routing prompts, iterating on outputs, A/B testing versions until we get the shot that makes your gut clench.
And here's the part people don't get, the AI hallucinations. You know, when you ask for a castle and it gives you a chicken wearing a crown, that's not a bug, it's a feature if you know how to weaponize it. Sometimes the AI spits out something so wrong, it's brilliant. A twisted, unexpected angle you'd never have thought of. You course correct, but you also listen. It's a collaboration with a chaotic digital muse.
Building the virtual world is where it gets anal awesome. You're not just building a set, you're building a feeling. A derelict factory isn't just rusty metal. It's the ache of abandoned industry. The lighting isn't just dark. It's the specific blue of 3 a.m. regret. We generate these environments, then we integrate assets, props, symbols. A single broken mirror in a scene can carry the weight of an entire lyric.
Post-production is where the human touch becomes surgical. The AI gives us the raw footage, dozens, sometimes hundreds of image sequences. We then animate, composite, add FX, color grade. It's traditional editing, but the source material is untraditional. We're not fixing mistakes. We're elevating a vision, making sure that millisecond of a character's glance holds the right amount of venom.
Directing these digital stars, that's the real trip. You're choreographing a phantom, you guide expressions, movements, the tilt of a head, the clench of a fist, through text. It's fucking surreal. Oblivion, turn your head slowly, bat wings tattered, a look of androgynous contempt that says your binary gender concepts are obsolete. And sometimes it listens. Sometimes it gives you something better. The narrative pacing is all us. Cutting, splicing, making sure the story hits like a hammer, not dribbles out like a leaky faucet.
The director's challenge is balancing that creative control with the AI's own, let's call it interpretive flair. You have to know when to rein it in and when to let it run wild. It's like having a band member who's a genius, but also might suddenly start playing jazz polka in the middle of a black metal breakdown. You manage the chaos.
Looking forward, the ethical considerations are messy, intellectual property in a space where the lines are blurred. Bias is baked into training data. We're aware. For us, it's about transparency. This is our tool, our vision, our venom. We're not hiding it. And that's the point. Democratization. You don't need $1 million studio now. You need a vision, stubbornness, and a system that doesn't crash when you ask it to render apocalyptic goth orgy in a cathedral.
What's next? The tech evolves faster than a trend fucktivist's attention span, but the core remains. It's a mirror. It will amplify whatever you feed it. Feed it bland, safe, anal manual approved slop, you get slop. Feed it your raw, unfiltered, disgusting truth, you get art that cuts. That's the future. Not AI replacing artists. AI exposing who has something to say and who's just making content parasite noise.
So drop your thoughts in the comments. What's a visual you've seen in your head that you've never been able to create? What story are you burning to tell? And to all the gatekeepers clutching their real artist certificates, your fear is showing. Your systems are weak. We're just getting started.
Next sometime, we dive into the signal manipulation, how we make a live rig feel alive, not robotic, why 1 millisecond of latency can turn a breakdown into a breakdown of the whole song, and how to make technological chaos look like pure intentional rage. If you think this was geeky, just wait.
Venomous Sin declares war on the idea that you need permission to create. The tools are there. The question is, do you have the stomach to use them, or are you content being an insta-ghost in your own life? Next up, let's crucifuck the entire follow your passion thing. All right, sinners, time to crucifuck one of the most toxic pieces of advice ever vomited into the face of working people. Follow your passion. This isn't inspiration, it's a fucking scam. A comfort blanket for people too insecure to face the brutal economics of creative work. It's emotional comfort food that keeps you fat, lazy, and broke while the system laughs at your naive little dreams.
Oh God, this one makes me want to throw my platform boots at someone's face. Do what you love and the money will follow. Really? Because I followed my passion straight into a strip club, getting my ass grabbed by the same bullies who tormented me in school. Passion without strategy is just expensive masturbation. You're jerking off to your own dreams while reality fucks you raw.
The algorithmic analysis is simple. Survivorship bias meets privilege denial. The people dispensing this advice? They had safety nets, family money, connections, a partner's income. They conveniently forget the backup plans, the inherited resources, the timing, the pure fucking luck. It's like telling someone to jump off a cliff because you had a parachute you're not mentioning.
Exactly. And here's the cruel joke. This advice functions as a sedative. It keeps desperate people compliant. Oh, you're struggling? You must not be passionate enough. You must not want it badly enough. It shifts the blame from a rigged system to individual moral failing. Classic gaslighting wrapped in motivational poster bullshit.
The myth deliberately ignores how creative industries are designed to exclude working class people. Unpaid internships, networking events that cost more than rent, paying your dues culture. It's all built for people who can afford to work for exposure. Meanwhile, the rest of us are choosing between following our passion and eating food. It's anal elitist garbage.
And the technical reality? Most successful creatives had calculated strategies, not just burning desire. They understood market dynamics, audience psychology, distribution channels. Passion is fuel, not a business plan. You need both. The romantic narrative serves the industry by maintaining a steady supply of desperate, exploitable workers who'll accept shit pay because they're following their dreams.
Look at Venomous Sin. We didn't follow passion like some Disney movie. We weaponized it, combined genuine artistic drive with AI tools, strategic content creation, understanding our audience. Lena's transformation from bullied telemarketer to Lady Macabre wasn't just about following dreams, it was calculated rebellion with real skills backing it up.
My stripping phase? Perfect example of what happens when you follow passion without understanding power dynamics. I thought being desired meant having power. Wrong. I was just another product in someone else's marketplace. Real power came when I learned to fight back, literally and figuratively. Taekwondo, business skills, then channeling that rage into art that actually means something.
The band's success metrics prove the point. We bypassed traditional gatekeepers through technical knowledge, AI music generation, social media optimization, direct fan engagement. We didn't beg the industry for permission. We built our own infrastructure. That's strategy plus passion, not passion instead of strategy.
And here's the part that makes these dildo profits short circuit. We treat passion as fuel for strategic thinking, not as a substitute for understanding power structures. Real creative success requires both emotional intensity and practical competence. Otherwise, you're just another content parasite feeding the machine while calling it art.
The whole follow your passion narrative is a control mechanism. It keeps creative people desperate and grateful for scraps. Oh, you should be happy to work for free. You love what you do. Fuck that. Passion doesn't pay rent. Skill and strategy do. And the people selling this advice, they're usually the ones profiting from your desperation.
Final system analysis. Passion without structure equals exploitable resource. The myth encourages individual solutions to systemic problems, preventing collective action for better creative industry conditions. Meanwhile, passionate people make perfect targets because they'll accept worse treatment and lower pay. It's a feature, not a bug.
So here's our anti-advice. Don't follow your passion. Hunt it down, cage it, and make it work for you. Build skills that matter. Understand the game you're playing. And when some trend fucktivist tells you to just believe in yourself, tell them to take their motivational masturbation and shove it where their authentic self used to be.
Drop your thoughts, sinners. What passion-based lie kept you broke and grateful? Who told you that wanting financial stability meant you weren't a real artist? Because we're about to declare war on a few more comfortable delusions.
Next segment, I think we're going to hear a story. Systems ready to analyze.
Yeah, that's right. Next up, it's story time. But first, know this. Follow your passion just got crucifucked.
Have you ever tasted a memory so potent it left your mouth stained, your neck sticky with ghosts you can't swallow? I have. And let me tell you, sinners, it wasn't wine. It was the first time I realized desire isn't just hunger. It's a cellar, a place where the bottles don't age with grace. They fester, where the air is thick with the scent of oak and something older, something that clings to your skin like the sweat of a confession you never meant to make. The kind of place where the walls whisper, and if you press your ear close enough, you'll hear your own voice from years ago, begging someone, anyone, to just fucking listen. I was 19 the first time I stepped into one. Not the kind you're thinking of, with its polished racks and tasting notes. No, this was a cellar dug by hands that knew the weight of silence. The kind where the floorboards groan under the weight of things left unsaid. Where the dust isn't just dirt, it's the remains of every version of yourself you've shed like a second skin. And the wine? Oh, the wine wasn't for drinking. It was for drowning. There's a bottle down there with my name on it. I didn't put it there. Someone else did. Someone who knew that the only thing sharper than the edge of a broken glass is the memory of the hand that pushed you into it. It's still corked, that bottle. The label's peeled away in places, but if you squint, you can make out the year 2011, the vintage of my first betrayal. The year I learned that desire isn't just about what you want. It's about what you're willing to lose to get it. I didn't drink from it. Not then. I was too busy choking on the lie that I was in control, that I could walk out of that cellar any time I wanted, that the stains on my dress were just wine, not the proof of how easily I'd let myself become someone else's anal manual, a set of instructions for how to break me, page by page. But here's the thing about cellars, darlings. They're not just for storage. They're for fermentation. And time doesn't heal. It distills, turns sweet rot into something stronger, something that burns going down. 12 years later, I went back. Not to that cellar. No, that one's long since collapsed, just like the girl who used to cry in it. I went to mine, the one I built, brick by brick, lie by lie, with my own 2 hands. And this time, I didn't just taste the memory. I drank it, swallowed every last drop of the venom I'd been saving, let it sear through me like holy water in reverse. You want to know what it tasted like?
I love when you start with, have you ever? Like you're about to offer them a free sample, and then you just pour them a whole bottle of trauma straight down the throat.
Exactly, because that's the point. People keep asking for authenticity and then flinch when it tastes like something real. It tasted like revenge. Not the kind that comes with a knife or a scream. The quiet kind. The kind that curls around your ribs like smoke and whispers. You were never the weak one. The kind that turns your veins into rivers of something darker than blood. Something older. And the bottle? Empty now. But the cellar's still there. Always will be. Because some shadows don't just linger, they learn. And some desires don't just haunt you, they wait. So tell me, sinner, When was the last time you visited yours? And more importantly, what's still down there?
So basically, role assignment is unstable. Variables flip based on input, and the environment is hostile. Sounds like my kind of system.
Yes, exactly, Nyx. The cellar is a hostile environment. It's humid, it's warm, it's sealed. Next, descent. The invitation that was never an option. You don't choose the cellar chooses you, and when it does, it's not with a polite knock, it's with the creak of a door that's been waiting for you to stop pretending you don't hear it. That first step down isn't a descent, it's a confession. Mine smelled like wet earth and the ghost of a perfume I hadn't worn in years. The kind that lingers in the fibers of a coat you swore you'd burn, but kept anyway. Because some part of you still wants to remember what it was like to believe in pretty lies. The air was thick enough to chew, heavy with the musk of old wood and something feral underneath. Not rot, not yet, but the promise of it. There are two kinds of people in a cellar like this, the predator and the prey. I've been both. The predator is the one who built it, the cellar master, the kind of man who pours wine like it's a sacrament and watches your throat work when you swallow. His hands are steady, his voice is a purr. He doesn't ask if you're afraid. He already knows the answer. What he wants is to see how long it takes before you stop lying about it. The prey? Oh, she's the wine grower. The one who planted the vines with trembling fingers, who whispered to the grapes like they were children, like they'd grow sweet if she just loved them enough. She's the one who doesn't realize the cellar isn't for storage, it's a trap. And the door, it doesn't just close, it seals.
That's the most human thing you've ever said. If I do it perfectly, maybe the universe won't hit me. Cute, delusional, relatable.
Yeah, and that's why the vines are childhood memories. Because as a kid, you learn this sick little equation. If I behave, if I'm quiet, if I'm pretty, if I'm useful, then maybe I won't get hurt. Then you grow up and you keep doing it, just with better lipstick and a nicer outfit and a more adult excuse. I was 19 the first time I understood that. 19, with my platinum blonde hair still clinging to the fantasy that I could be the kind of girl men wrote songs about instead of the kind they wrote off. The kind who got pushed into bathroom stalls with lipstick smeared on her suit like war paint. The kind who learned too late that the only thing worse than being invisible is being seen, but only as a lesson. The cellar that year wasn't made of stone. It was made of silence, the kind that presses down on your chest like a hand, the kind that tastes like copper when you finally gasp for air. And the wine? It wasn't in bottles. It was in the way his voice dropped when he said, "You broke her. Now try to break me." The way the girls who'd painted me like a doll recoiled when he stepped into the light. The way the world tilted when I realized, oh, this isn't a rescue. This is a trade. 12 years later, I built my own cellar. No oak barrels, no polite tasting notes, just black PVC walls that creak when I move, and a floor that remembers the weight of every heel I've ever snapped walking away from something that tried to keep me. The air in here doesn't smell like grapes. It smells like latex and the sharp electric tang of a live wire. The kind that burns if you touch it. The kind you want to touch anyway. There's a bottle on the shelf with 2011 scrawled in what looks like dried blood. I don't open it. I don't need to. The memory's already in my mouth, sour and sweet all at once, like the first sip of something you know is going to ruin you. The kind of taste that lingers, the kind that changes you. You want to know the secret of a cellar like this? It's not the wine. It's the echo, the way your own voice comes back to you when you scream, but softer, like it's been waiting, like it's been hungry. So go on, sinner, take a step, the door's open. But remember, some doors only open in.
That's the dangerous part. Seen without punishment is basically a rare permission token. Most people never get one, so they keep reusing expired ones and wonder why the system crashes.
Exactly. And the hunt starts. Not a literal hunt, you idiots, calm down. A psychological hunt, a dance, A chase through barrels and narrow corridors, through turns that feel like choices, but are really memories you haven't processed. Fermentation, the hunt and the heat. The game begins the moment you realize you're not alone in the dark. He's there, the cellar master, moving between the barrels like he owns every shadow, every breath you take. But here's the thing they never tell you about predators. Sometimes the prey knows exactly what she's doing. Sometimes she's the one laying the trail. I lead him deeper, my heels clicking against stone like a metronome counting down to something inevitable. Each turn in this labyrinth is a choice I make. Left toward the memory of that first betrayal, right toward the taste of revenge that's been aging for 12 years. The wine here isn't just fermented grapes. It's passion distilled, thick, intoxicating, and sometimes so rich it makes you sick. But you keep drinking anyway, because the alternative is sobriety. And sobriety means remembering why you're down here in the first place. His fingers find the wine stains on my skin, deep purple marks that look like bruises but feel like promises. I tell him they're from the harvest, but we both know that's bullshit. These stains are older, deeper. They're from the night I learned that some wounds heal crooked, that some scars turn into armor. He traces them like he's reading Braille, like my skin holds secrets he needs to crack. And maybe it does. Maybe that's the point. The heat rises between us, not just desire, but something more dangerous. The kind of fever that comes with infection, with something toxic working its way through your system. I remember being 19 and burning like this, delirious with the need to be seen, to matter. That fever nearly killed me. This one might finish the job. But then the vines tighten around my wrists. Not real vines, but the memory of them. The weight of every hand that ever held me down. Every voice that ever whispered you asked for this. The cellar master sees it happen, sees the way my breath catches, and his eyes go soft with recognition. Because he's been here too. Different cellar, same suffocating dark. We're both anal fucked by our own ghosts, I whisper, and he laughs, not because it's funny, but because it's true. We pour our own poison, measure our own doses. The most dangerous intoxication isn't what someone else slips in your drink. It's what you keep serving yourself, night after night, because at least it tastes familiar. The hunt continues, the heat builds, and somewhere in the maze of memory and desire, we both know there's no way out that doesn't involve bleeding.
And people call that identity, like it's a fucking perfume. This season, I'm Ode to Trauma, with notes of self-blame and a hint of Stockholm.
Yes, Lord Anal, exactly. And that's why this is about taking back power over creation, body, desire, identity. Because the world loves a simple narrative. The world loves when you pick a box and stay there so they can market you, pity you, shame you, or fuck you. But in the cellar, the wine grower starts to realize something disgusting and beautiful.
So the labyrinth is basically self-reinforcing code. Trauma as a recursive function. If you don't break the loop, it keeps calling itself until you're out of resources.
Yes, and the scene that matters most isn't the sexy one, it's the sober one. Because intoxication is easy. Intoxication is the part where you can pretend. You can say, it was the wine, it was the mood, it was the night, it was the attention. Intoxication lets you avoid responsibility for your own desire. Sobriety, tasting the truth. You ever wake up with the taste of iron in your mouth and realize it's not blood? It's just the aftertaste of your own bad decisions? That's sobriety in this cellar. The vines aren't just tightening around my wrists. They're squeezing the last drops of delusion out of me. 12 years of fermented rage, desire, and that one betrayal that still makes my teeth ache when I bite down too hard. The cellar master, fuck, even calling him that is a joke now, stands there, his silhouette sharpening as the wine-drunken haze burns off. No more soft edges, no more excuses. Just two people who've been circling each other's ruins like vultures, pretending we didn't build the fire. The silence isn't empty. It's full, full of the things we've been too drunk on memory to say. My skin still hums where his fingers traced the stains, those old, violent marks that look like wine, but feel like the ghost of every hand that ever thought it could own me. He knows what they are. He's got his own. That's the thing about wounds. They're the only tattoos that don't lie. You can dye your hair black, lace yourself into PVC until you can't breathe, but the scars, they'll always whisper, remember in the dark. I could lie. I could say this was just another game, another round of let's see how close we can get to the flame without burning. But the cellar doesn't play along anymore. The barrels are dry, the last bottle's been drained, and all that's left is the sediment, the gritty, bitter truth at the bottom of the glass. That's us. Not the passion, not the chase, not even the way his mouth felt like a confession against mine. Just two people who've been using desire as a tourniquet for old bleeding.
And that's where most people panic and run back into the party like, nope, I prefer my lies chilled.
Yes, because sobriety means you can't blame a person anymore. You can't blame a lover. You can't blame the world. You have to look at the vines and admit, I've been watering these. I've been feeding them with shame. I've been keeping them alive because they're familiar. We're not toxic, I say, and the words taste like the outro of a song we wrote in a fever. We're fucking poison. He doesn't flinch. Of course he doesn't. The Lord never does. That's the difference between us. I wear my venom on my sleeves. He keeps his curled in his fists, quiet until it's time to strike. But right now, we're both just standing in the wreckage of our own myths, sober for the first time in years. The real kicker? It's not even about him. Not really. It's about the vines. The ones I've been letting grow for 12 fucking years, twisting memory and desire together until I couldn't tell which was which. The cellar master was just another barrel to tap, another way to drown out the voice that's been screaming, you let them win since I was 19. But sobriety's a bitch like that. It doesn't just show you the exit, it shows you why you've been lost. The breaking point isn't when the vines snap. It's when you realize you've been holding the scissors the whole time. The aftertaste isn't regret, it's clarity, bitter, sweet, and so sharp it could cut glass. The kind that makes you laugh because holy shit, you chose this, over and over. The message isn't in the wine, it's in the hangover. The only way out of this labyrinth is to stop pretending you want to stay. I reach for the door, not because I'm running, but because I finally remember how. The cellar master doesn't stop me. He just watches, his eyes reflecting the same truth I see in the dusty mirrors lining the walls. We're not prisoners here. We're the jailers, and the locks were always ours to break. Sobriety isn't the absence of wine. It's the first sip of something real, even if it burns all the way down. For the sinners who've been fermenting their own truth in the dark, come taste ours. No filters, no lies, just the raw, uncuffed version of what happens when you stop drinking the past and start living the present.
Classic. The lock isn't external, it's authorization. You're literally logged in as your own prisoner.
Exactly. And the cellar master, he doesn't save her. He doesn't do that pathetic hero thing. He just watches her decide, because that's what real power is. Not someone choosing you choosing yourself. The cellar door cracks open. The door doesn't swing open like some heroic ending. It cracks. A thin, mean line of air slips in, cold enough to sting, clean enough to make the cellar feel suddenly guilty, like it knows what it's done, like it knows what it showed me. And for a second, I just stand there with my hand on the iron latch, listening to the barrels settle behind me, listening to the vines shift in the walls like they're disappointed. I remembered I have bones and a spine and a choice. He doesn't stop me. Of course he doesn't. The Lord never needs to grab. He only needs to wait. That's his cruelty, his discipline, his quiet little superiority complex wrapped in a black coat and a stare that says, try to run, you'll come back anyway. And the worst part? He's not entirely wrong. Not because I'm weak, because memory is a fucking dildo prophet, always preaching that the past was meaningful while it still got its mouth full of your shame. I look back once, not for permission, not for romance, for confirmation that the labyrinth is real, that the wine cellar metaphor wasn't just aesthetic darkness and pretty suffering, that this was an emotional labyrinth of trauma with velvet walls and glass teeth, and I walked it barefoot because I thought pain counted as devotion. The vines loosen, just a little, not mercy, a negotiation. They slide from my wrists like satin restraints, and for a moment the cellar feels almost seductive, not dangerous, not biting, just inviting in that sick way a bad idea can feel like home. The air tastes like dark fantasy wine imagery, plum, dust, old leather, and the kind of truth that makes you swallow hard. That's when he finally moves. One step, slow, measured, like he's closing the distance between "we're done" and "you're mine" without saying either. The hunt doesn't end at the door. No, sweetheart. The hunt just changes rooms. The vines don't disappear. They become velvet ropes, and suddenly the exit looks less like freedom and more like a private corridor where the rules aren't written down because they don't need to be.
That's the part the gatekeepers hate. You didn't ask permission, you didn't beg for a label, you just exited the program.
So tell me, sinners, when was the last time you visited your cellar? Not the cute one, yours. Here's my challenge, sinner. What's your forbidden vintage? The one you keep saving, but really you're just afraid to finish it. What memory are you still drunk on? The kiss, the betrayal, the night you should have walked away but didn't because it tasted like being chosen. And be honest, are you trying to leave your cellar, or are you just pretending you want the door open? I step through the crack and the hinge gives a soft scream, like the cellar itself is offended I'm not begging. But behind me, I feel him close enough to change my breathing, close enough to make my pulse turn stupid, close enough that the spicy ending I promised isn't a promise anymore. It's a decision hovering right at the edge of contact. His voice drops, and it's not a threat. It's worse. It's familiar. If you walk out, he murmurs, don't pretend you didn't want what comes after. I laugh, low, venomous, almost tender, and my nails bite the doorframe. Oh, I want it, I say. I just want to see if you can handle me sober. And then, just as the corridor opens into something darker, softer, and way too private for the blog, his hand finds the back of my neck. Not force, not ownership, a claim written in heat and history. The cellar door creaks wider, and the rest of the story slips out of sight. To uncork the climax and taste what comes after, sinners, join us on FanView. The cellar doors never fully close. That's fanview.com/Venomous Sin.
And next up, since she just emotionally choked you with grapevines, we're going to talk about something I know itches Lena to get out.
Also, if this hit you and you're like, why am I sweating? Congrats, your internal firewall is weak. Patch it by telling the truth in the comments.
Okay, since we just spent 10 minutes ripping the "be yourself but not like that" anal manual in half, let's go into the part where people suddenly pretend they don't have bodies. Body fluids. The thing everyone has. Everyone leaks. Everyone swallows. Everyone wipes off something at some point, and then they act like it's a moral failure if it shows up in desire. And I'm gonna say it clean. Taboo is not the same as harmful. Taboo is just society's little disgust leash. Harm is when consent is missing, when someone is pressured, when someone is unsafe. But gross is not a crime. Disgust is a feeling, not a verdict. And yeah, it's used as a weapon to police people, and especially women. Like if a woman wants anything that isn't cute and sanitized, suddenly she's damaged. No, babe, she's just not performing purity for your comfort.
And I'm going to be the boring nurse for 1 second, because education is harm reduction, not promotion. Talking about water sports or scat or vomit fetishes is not us handing you a starter kit. It's us refusing to let ignorance create risk. Because what actually hurts people isn't this kink exists. It's people doing it with zero communication, zero planning, and then panicking when their nervous system goes, nope. If we can say the words without shaming, people can ask questions without hiding. And hiding is where people get reckless. So if you're listening and you're like, that's not for me, cool. That's a valid boundary, not a personality flaw.
There is a line, and it is not blurry. No consent, no kink, just violation. Fluids do not change that. They intensify the need for structure. BDSM is not a vibe. It is rules. It is protocol. It is negotiation. If you cannot speak clearly about what is allowed, what is not allowed, and what happens when something changes, you are not doing kink. You are improvising with someone's body and calling it spicy. That is how people get hurt. If someone surprises you with fluids, that is not edgy. That is a breach.
Yeah, and also, for the record, disgust is the easiest social weapon in history. People act like you is an argument. It's not. It's just your brain screaming unknown file type. And then you try to delete the person instead of updating your own system. That's some weak-ass firewall behavior.
Confirmed. You is not a policy. It's an error message.
Exactly. And if you're sitting there thinking, why are they talking about this? It's because shame is how people get controlled. Shame is how people get coerced. Shame is how people get silent. And silence is where bad shit hides. So we're dragging it into the light like a cockroach with a podcast mic.
All right, fluid bonding. Let's define it in plain terms before people turn it into romance propaganda. Fluid bonding, in kink contexts, usually means choosing to share certain body fluids with someone as a negotiated intimacy ritual. It can be about semen, vaginal fluids, saliva, blood in some contexts, urine in others. Depends on the people. The important part is, it's chosen. It's not, we did it raw, so now we're spiritually married. Some people don't care about it at all. Some people see it as deeply intimate. Some people see it as a hard no. And all of those are normal.
For some people, it's symbolism. Like, I choose you. Not in a Disney way. More like, I'm letting you see me without sanitizing myself for your comfort. Vulnerability is the point. It can feel like trust, ownership, closeness, devotion, whatever language fits the dynamic. But it only works if it's real choice. If it becomes a test, like, if you love me, you'll do this, that's not intimacy. That's emotional blackmail in lingerie.
And I'm going to be the annoying adult in the room. Symbolism doesn't override biology. Trust isn't an STD test. Commitment isn't a substitute for risk management. You can be soulmates and still catch something. You can be loyal and still be unaware. So if you're going to ritualize fluids, do it like grown-ups. Talk, test, plan, and don't pretend romance is a vaccine.
Trust isn't an STD test, should be printed on condoms and relationship contracts. Bug, magical thinking, fix, reality.
Consent frameworks. Here is what works. Negotiation as protocol, not as mood. Explicit yes-no lists. Boundaries by fluid type, not fluids as one category. Be specific. What is allowed, where, when, and what is never allowed. Decide what stop means in practice, not just as a word you assume you will hear. What happens if someone freezes? What happens if someone panics? What is the exit plan? If you cannot answer those questions, you are not ready.
An informed consent means you talk about risks, triggers, and aftercare before you're turned on and brave. Because disgust responses can be involuntary. Someone can think they're okay, and then their body goes into get it off me mode. That doesn't make them weak. That means you need a plan. Like, if I panic, we pause, we clean up, we ground, no shame, no punishment. You can be dominant and still be caring. Actually, if you're dominant and not caring, you're just a bully with accessories.
Main crash report. Assumptions. I thought you meant is the most common kink fatal error. Write it down like a checklist. If you can't write it, you can't run it.
And I'll add, the most dangerous lie is, we don't need to talk, we just feel each other. No, That's how you wake up with regret and a shame spiral that eats you alive. Talking isn't unsexy. Talking is what makes it safe enough to be hot. Because then you can actually let go without fear that you'll be punished for having limits.
Safety basics without turning this into a medical TED Talk. 3 buckets: infection, irritation, cross-contamination. Be mindful about hygiene. Use barriers if that fits your boundaries. Don't do anything when you're sick or injured. If something feels off, stop. If you're going to do anything higher risk, take it seriously. Hardcore isn't a personality trait. It's a responsibility level.
Psychological safety matters just as much. Don't use fluids as a loyalty test. Don't use taboo as proof of love. Pacing is sexy. Debriefing is sexy. Regret prevention is sexy. And if you're the kind of person who gets post-scene shame, plan for that too. Like, actually say out loud, afterwards I might feel weird. Please don't mock me. Please hold me. Please remind me I didn't do anything wrong. That's not needy. That's being smart.
Blunt rule that saves people. If you can't talk about it sober, you can't do it safely. If your negotiation skills disappear without alcohol or horny brain, you're not ready. Competence is the kink. The rest is just fluids and delusions.
Competence, stable build, delusion, beta release.
Okay, golden showers, water sports. The myth is that it's automatically degrading. It's not. It can be intimacy, play, power exchange, sensory novelty, taboo thrill. The meaning is negotiated, not assumed. For some people, it's about control. For others, it's about closeness. For others, it's just, this is hot because it's forbidden. And yes, disgust can coexist with arousal. That's normal psychology. Taboo is often the driver.
Thank you. Because I'm so tired of the, if you like water sports, you must hate yourself narrative. No. Some people like it because it's intimate, because it's warm, because it's playful, because it feels like permission to be an animal for a moment. And some people like it because it's humiliating. Also valid if it's consensual. But the key word is agreed meaning. If you call it degrading without asking the person, you're just projecting your own fear and calling it truth.
Control dynamics decide everything. Who decides where, when, and limits. This is choreography. If it is not structured, it is not my kind of kink. You design the environment, you decide the boundaries, you decide what is off limits, and you decide the stop conditions. Nothing just happens. That is lazy dominance.
Environment design prevents accidents. Engineering, not vibes.
Practical boundaries for water sports. Non-explicit but useful. Plan hydration in a normal, sensible way. Plan hygiene and have a cleanup plan. The goal is nobody feels trapped or embarrassed afterwards. If you're in a space where cleanup is hard, don't pretend you'll figure it out. That's how panic starts. Also, talk about comfort levels with smell, sight, and proximity. Those are real triggers for people.
Consent language helps mid-scene. Agree on words like pause versus stop, because sometimes someone needs a breath without ending everything. And checking in doesn't have to sound like a courtroom. It can be a simple, sexy, still good. But the point is, you don't make someone beg for mercy, and you don't punish them for needing a break. Shame-proof the scene. That's how you keep it from turning into regret.
And if you're the type who gets offended by the word pause, congratulations, you're not dominant, you're fragile. Dominance that can't handle a check-in is just ego in a leather belt.
Now, the taboo ladder. Why do scat and vomit fetishes get treated differently even inside kink communities? Because people moralize contamination. Gross becomes bad person. That's cultural conditioning, not truth. Humans are trained to link cleanliness with worth. So when something crosses that line, it triggers fear, not just disgust. And then people act like their fear is a moral compass.
And kink communities are not immune to being assholes. The hierarchy shaming is insane. Your kink is fine, mine is disgusting. Babe, that's just mainstream judgment wearing a harness. You're still using disgust as social status. You're still trying to be the acceptable pervert. And I hate to break it to you. The vanilla world still thinks you're weird, so maybe stop stepping on other people to feel clean.
People love freedom until it looks unsexy to them. Then suddenly it's boundaries and concern and think of the others and whatever. Selective tolerance. Open-minded as hell.
Selective tolerance detected. User wants freedom.exe, but only the pretty version.
Risk-aware talk about scat play and vomit fetishes, without instructions. These are higher-risk activities. Higher risk requires higher competence and stricter boundaries. More taboo doesn't mean more advanced. Opting out is normal. Being curious is normal. Being into it is also normal. But if someone treats it like a flex, that's a red flag. Because it's not about being hardcore. It's about being responsible.
And ethically, no coercion, no prove it, no surprise escalation. Escalation pressure is a consent violation in fancy packaging. If someone uses insecurity to push you into something, they are unsafe. If someone says, everyone does this, they are lying. If someone gets angry at your discovery process, they are not a partner, they are a threat.
Biggest red flag. Secrecy plus poor planning. If they can't discuss safety and limits clearly, they're not safe for high-stakes kinks. Period.
Aftercare and emotional integration. This is the part people don't admit they need after taboo play. You can feel powerful during and vulnerable after. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. Aftercare is owning what you wanted without apologizing for having a body. It's like, you don't crawl out of your own skin and then hate yourself for being human. You debrief, you breathe, you let it land.
Grounding and repair. Ask questions after, not as interrogation, as data. What felt good? What felt too much? What do we change next time? And if someone feels overwhelmed, you don't dismiss them. You don't mock them. You help their nervous system come back down. That's not soft. That's how you keep trust intact.
Accountability. If you pushed a boundary, you do not get to hide behind kink. You own the mistake. You correct the behavior. You rebuild trust. Discipline is not just in the scene. Discipline is what you do after you realize you were wrong.
And this loops back to the whole episode theme, taking power back over desire and identity. Your desire doesn't need public approval to be real, but also, your desire doesn't give you a free pass to be reckless or coercive. Freedom without competence is just chaos with branding.
Privacy is not shame. You can keep things sacred without treating them like a dirty secret. Choice is the core of empowerment. Not being extreme, not being vanilla, not being the cool kink person. Just choice. And if your choice is no, that's not boring. That's you being unfuckwithable.
And no kink shaming also means no pressure to kink. You can be vanilla, curious, or into the deep end. Consent and safety define the line, not disgust, not ego, not performance.
Talk first, play second. If you can't negotiate, you're not ready. And if someone tries to rush you, they're telling on themselves.
Consent protocol. Enabled.
Next up, let's debug Nyx. Everyone always asks how we come up with our characters. But Nyx wasn't a what if, she was a necessity. We needed a digital backbone, someone who could do more than just push a key and look hot in PVC. I built the back end, yeah, but we wanted it to be alive, a system that could outsmart, outpace, outlast the industry's anal manuals. And that's where Nyx Luna comes in. She's not just our keyboardist, she's the virus that makes the whole system dance to our rhythm. Nyx End isn't just software, it's her, or hell, maybe we're all just running on her code now.
Yeah, and for me, Nyx was revenge. I spent years being the cute girl who was supposed to be dumb, supposed to smile, supposed to take up as little space as possible, especially in tech. Nyx was my way of flipping the script. You want to call us difficult because we don't giggle at your IT jokes? Good. Now we weaponize it. Nyx is every time a woman gets underestimated in tech and decides to burn the whole server farm down. And the Nyxend thing? Total accident, but the best kind. Back end, Nyx. She's the endpoint and the system glitch. That's lore and reality, no filter.
Here's the real data dump. I was born in Copenhagen, Danish grade school system. From day one, I was the difficult unit. Not quirky, problematic, too quiet, too intense, not cute enough to be a pet, not soft enough to be ignored. Other kids played tag. I brute forced my mom's Wi-Fi password before I learned to ride a bike. I used to stay in during recess and tinker with old routers. Teachers flagged me as trouble, lacks social skills, doesn't follow instructions. They were right. I preferred breaking systems to following them.
So you're saying your first friends were all named Linksies and D-Link? Cute.
Yeah, and they never tried to grope me or ask if I needed help with my code. School was hostile. Boys in IT class treated me like a mascot until I outcoded them. When they crossed the line, I didn't complain. I retaliated, hacked their files, left threats in binary. Early, I'd built my own synths and made sure every guy who tried to sabotage my project found his desktop background replaced with ASCII art spelling user.exe not found. Revenge wasn't loud, it was surgical.
That's the difference. Nyx never begged acceptance. She became the virus. Not the puzzle to solve, but the bug that crashes your comfort zone. The hacker, not the hacky. You never wanted to fit their pattern. You wanted to infect it.
Exactly. Never cared about being the cool girl. My whole philosophy, if you try to box me in, I'll rewrite the code until the box eats itself. I liked being called a cold bitch. It meant my firewall was working, sabotaged group projects, exposed teachers' weak passwords, left little digital landmines everywhere. Not for chaos, just proof that I could take back power. One line of code at a time.
So when people talk about systemic change, you're the literal definition. You didn't just change the system, you turned it into your playground. But what about the human side? What's it like living with a face that screams, "fuck you," and code that whispers, "save me"?
That's the double-edged mask. People see the resting, "get out of my server room" face and think I'm bulletproof. Truth, my code says, "save me," but don't you dare try unless you pass my Turing test. I built indifference as armor. Underneath, yeah, I want safety, but safety is a system, not a feeling. I trust code, not people, unless they prove they can handle root access. Every scar is an upgrade. Every time I get burned, I patch the vulnerability. Music? That's the one place I let the rage run wild, but never random. Every sequence is intentional, no accidents.
That's what I love. You're emotionally driven, but you channel it through system logic. You debug yourself. You treat feelings like code. Optimize, harden, iterate, avoiding vulnerability by running constant diagnostics. But still, you're human underneath the mesh and the PVC.
Human, not machine. Never wanted to be a robot. Just wanted to be the admin, not the user. My reputation as a live hacker was earned. I don't freak out when the system fails. I test it. I break it on purpose, see where it bends. That's how I joined Venomous Sin. I hacked a live video, timed the lights, cleaned the audio, sent a USB. No name, just, "Your systems are weak, I'm not." Waited for Chavi to trace it back. He did. Of course.
No one else gets recruited into this band by hacking it. You didn't audition, you left a digital calling card and waited for us to figure it out. You were never just the keyboardist. You rewrote our live setup from scratch and only told us after it worked flawlessly.
If you're going to be in the system, own the back end. My first rule. If you're going to control the chaos, do it from the shadows. Real power isn't loud. It's silent, invisible, and absolute. That's why I turned the Nyx end system into lore. The back end isn't just code, it's a persona. Ask the Nixon is a joke, but it's also a command. I decide what gets debugged and what gets deleted.
And the body stuff? I know it's not just about the tech for you. You grew up surrounded by boys who saw you as a challenge or a threat, not a peer. Now, on stage, you weaponize the gaze. That cybergoth style isn't for show. It's armor.
Control is the kink. Desire is about who gets access. Everything's intentional. Every cable, every piece of mesh, every flash of skin. I decide what's visible. I decide who gets in. Coding let me take back power when I couldn't win physically or socially. Now, being watched is a performance I direct, not a vulnerability I suffer through.
So when people say AI makes you less human, they haven't seen you operate. NYXend is both system and story. You're the operator and the glitch. The band's command center is just your brain, digitized. Press Control-Alt-Delete on us, and we're done, right?
Pretty much. I've got custom scripts that sabotage anyone who tries to take over my domain. The Nixon isn't just my nickname, it's my firewall. If you try to overwrite my code, good luck. You'll just get a friendly access denied user error.
Let's talk intimacy. You're pansexual, hypersexual in theory, but in reality, you're ultra-selective. Trust is everything. You only let people close if you've mapped their patterns and know they won't crash the system.
Emotional safety is my real kink. I'm attracted to intelligence, not aesthetics. Power inversion is my favorite dynamic. Surrender, but only if I know you won't exploit it. I avoid casual sex because I'm paranoid, not prudish. Within the band, it's all code exchanges, not compliments. Lucian gets me because he never changes. Consistency is the highest trust signal.
So that's the secret. Venomous Sin isn't a family, it's a network. Not friends, not lovers, but a protocol stack you trust to run without crashing. Lucian's your anchor, Lena's your crash test dummy, I'm the chaos you monitor. Makes sense.
Exactly. I'm not here for emotional bonding. I'm here because I thrive in chaos. Every failure is just another system to debug. My loyalty isn't to people, it's to the code we build together. Trust is earned, not given.
And now you own the narrative. Every time someone called you difficult, every time they flagged you as a problem, you turned it into power. You made virus, hacker, cold bitch into your brand. No apologies, no compromise.
I'm not here to fit the mold. I'm here to infect it. The lesson isn't find your place, it's bend the rules until they break. The system can be rewritten, but only by those who refuse to crash quietly. So, yeah, if your firewall feels weak right now, maybe it's time to patch it with some truth.
Sinners, drop your debug logs in the comments. What label did you turn into power? Who tried to code you out of your own narrative? And if you ever need to reformat your reality, just ask the Nixon. She's the only virus we trust to run the system.
Next week, we're infecting another cozy narrative. Until then, keep your system unstable, your secrets encrypted, and your power unfuckwithable. VenomousSin.com. See you in the shadows, sinners.
And remember, if you're not hacking back, you're just waiting to be debugged. System out. All right. Hacking your heart sounds like a cringe TED Talk title until you realize it's literally what most people are already doing, just badly. They treat emotions like malware, deny it exists, click accept on every pop-up, then act surprised when their whole identity gets ransomwared by someone who can't even spell accountability. For me, it's simpler. Emotions are a system. You can observe them, secure them, and still feel them without turning into a robot. I'm cybergoth, not cyberpunk, and I'm human, not biomechanical. My face says fuck you, my code says save me, and both are true. The save me part isn't weakness, it's the need for safety. Safety is not romance. Safety is architecture.
I love how she says architecture, like she's about to build a fucking cathedral out of trust issues. But yeah, keep going. People think logic deletes feelings. It doesn't. It just gives the feelings a knife and a spreadsheet.
Episode theme. Right. Taking back power over creation, body, desire, identity. That's authorship. Same as a compromised system. If someone else gets admin rights to your inner narrative, you're done. And people don't notice it happening because it's not dramatic, it's subtle. Identity theft online is obvious. Fake login page, stolen password, drained account. Emotional theft is the same thing but with compliments. Someone mirrors you, learns your triggers, then starts editing your story. You're too much. You're not enough. You're crazy. You're lucky I tolerate you. That's just someone rewriting your source code while you're distracted trying to be lovable. If you let someone else write your story, don't be shocked when you don't recognize yourself.
And then they call it love. Like love is supposed to feel like being slowly suffocated by someone's preferences. That's not love. That's an anal manual with perfume on it.
Yeah, and the worst part is, people will defend the thief. But they didn't mean it. Cool. Malware doesn't mean it either. It still deletes your shit.
Logic and love collide because logic predicts patterns, and love introduces variables that don't compile. I read people like logs, Micro-patterns, repetition, inconsistencies, latency. What they do when no one's watching, what they repeat when they're stressed. Promises are easy to spoof. I trust what you do repeatedly more than what you say once, because one good speech is literally social engineering. And before someone goes, "Wow, that's cold," no, that's intimacy for me. Paying attention is intimacy. Tracking your patterns is me trying to understand you without letting you own me.
She's basically saying, I don't fall in love, I run diagnostics, which, honestly, is healthier than most people's. I saw his jawline, and now I'm spiritually homeless.
And the either you're emotional or rational thing is such a scam. It's a false binary that keeps people controllable. If you're too emotional, they dismiss you. If you're too rational, they call you cold. Either way, you shut up and behave. Convenient.
Exactly. Emotions aren't bugs to delete. They're data with meaning. Ignoring them is how you get exploited. If your gut says something is off and you override it because you want to be chill, congratulations. You just disabled your own intrusion detection system. People call it overthinking. No, sometimes it's pattern recognition. Sometimes it's trauma, sure, but trauma also learned from real events. You don't heal by turning your sensors off. You heal by calibrating them.
Calibrating, like a weapon. I approve. Also, if your sensors are screaming and you still stay, that's not loyalty. That's self-harm with a cute label.
And if someone benefits from you being chill, they're usually the problem. Just saying.
Control. People love to call it a personality flaw. For me, it's a survival skill. I avoid casual sex because I'm paranoid and I don't trust people. Not because I'm innocent. I'm not. I just don't give strangers access. That's access control. Intimacy requires authentication, consistency, discretion, emotional safety. You don't get root because you're hot. You get root because you're stable. And yes, that shapes desire. I like frameworks. Kink, for me, is consented structure. Restriction and control as chosen architecture instead of forced cages. Bondage, remote stimulation, sound play. The whole point is, I get to hold vulnerability safely. It's not chaos. It's designed.
So basically, no authentication, no penetration. That's the most Nick sentence I've ever heard.
And it's hot because it's honest. People think spontaneous means real. No, spontaneous is how you end up crying in the shower like, why do I feel gross? Because you didn't set boundaries. You just hoped.
Origin story, since people love that shit. I was weird in a male-dominated field. Not cute weird, problem weird. Underestimated constantly, and humiliation turns into skill if you refuse to beg to be liked. I answered with competence. When sexist classmates ran their mouths, I didn't do the "please respect me" speech. I hacked their files and left threatening notes in binary. Symbolically, sure, but also practically, don't touch me, don't test me. That's what reclaiming identity looks like. Build something no one can take from you. Learning code was learning sovereignty. If you can build systems, you can rebuild yourself.
That's the part people miss. They want empowerment as a vibe. You made it a skill. Vibes don't hold up in court. Skills do.
And skills don't care if you're likable. That's why it's power. That's why insecure people hate competent women. You can't flirt your way out of being irrelevant when someone actually knows what they're doing.
In Venomous Sin, I turn emotion into architecture. Synths, triggers, lighting, timing, control. Digital nerve center. People think precision is sterile. No, precision is honesty. The cleanest timing creates the rawest impact. If the drop hits exactly when it should, your body reacts before your brain can censor it. That's the point. And our defiance. Venomous Sin declares war. It's metaphorical. It's refusing to be rewritten by conformity, the same way I refuse social narratives. Industry narratives, relationship narratives, gender scripts, be yourself scripts. Same malware, different UI.
And she does it without neon, because if she had neon, she'd stab someone with a USB cable, allegedly.
Cybergoth, not cyberpunk. Say it again for the people in the back who think everything digital has to look like a Monster Energy ad.
False narratives are social malware. Mainstream identity scripts are insecure default settings shipped with your life. Be yourself often means be convenient, be digestible, be quiet, be profitable, and when you don't match it, you get punished. So how do you patch it? Name the narrative, set boundaries, choose who gets access, permission levels, strangers get the public build, trusted people get the source code, and even trusted people don't get to edit it without consent.
God, that's hot. Trusted people don't get to edit it. That's like consent, but with a boot to the throat of entitlement.
And if someone gets offended by your boundaries, they were trying to benefit from you not having them. That's the whole fucking tell.
Now, relationships. Since you all love to ship us like we're a fucking app. Lucian. My bond with him is stability. His demeanor doesn't change. That consistency lowers my internal alarm system. It's not boring. It's uptime. We get close through competence, not constant talking. Exchanging and optimizing code for lighting rigs. Quiet intimacy. Reliability is love. Showing up tomorrow the same way you did today. Not dramatic declarations, not grand gestures. Just stable signal.
So romance is basically no packet loss. That's adorable in the most terrifying way.
It's actually sweet, in a don't touch my cables kind of way.
Lena is system overload. Attraction, inspiration, emotional latency. I can't debug. She makes me type faster, but I crash harder when she disappears or shifts energy. That delay isn't technical, it's emotional hesitation. But wanting someone doesn't mean surrendering authorship. Chemistry can be loud and boundaries still stay. Boundaries are how I stay myself. If I lose myself, it's not love, it's compromise malware.
I'm flattered and offended, which is my favorite emotional cocktail. But she's right. Wanting isn't surrender. People confuse intensity with permission.
And if anyone tries to turn that into a soap opera, I'll personally crucifuck your fanfiction. Metaphorically, mostly.
And Chavi. He's the one person who matches my intellect, so he makes me quieter, not louder. Chaotic surface, tight, deeper code. A system that doesn't leak data. Hard to hack, harder to ignore. That unnerves me because most people are predictable. He isn't. And attraction isn't always about softness. Sometimes it's respect for strength. Being challenged mentally is part of reclaiming desire from performative, nice scripts. Nice is often just a wrapper for entitlement anyway.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't enjoy that description, because my brand is being annoying. But yeah, respect is hotter than compliments.
And nice without backbone is just manipulation in a cardigan. I said what I said.
So here's the practical philosophy. Build your own operating system for body, desire, identity. Human firewall approach. Choose inputs. Limit exposure. Don't confuse access with intimacy. Filter attention like traffic. Some gets dropped, some gets rate limited, some gets a direct line, and art is where you set your default settings. Venomous Sin is proof you can build a world where your truth is the baseline, not the exception. Creation is self-defense and self-expression at once. You turn lived experience into sound, structure, and a story nobody else gets to rewrite.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Where did you get emotionally hacked? Who tried to install their narrative in your head like it was an update you didn't ask for?
And what boundary did you finally set that made someone call you cold or difficult? Because that's usually the moment you became free. Anal freedom, even.
Next up, we're gonna talk about what happens about our next album and roast the alpha male virus. And if that scares you, good. Your internal firewall is weak. Patch it. Comments.
All right, sinners, it's time for the autopsy. Lay the patient out on the table. Today, we're dissecting the alpha male influencer trend, specifically that whole Andrew Tate archetype that's been infecting the digital airwaves. You want to talk about dominance? Let's be real. The hyper-masculine performance we're seeing is just a failed attempt at gothic rebellion by men who didn't have the balls to wear eyeliner. They're basically just goths who traded the lace and the black metal for cigars and rentals. They call themselves leaders, but I call them dildo prophets. They're selling corporate-approved dominance to a bunch of guys who are so terrified of their own shadows, they need a 24/7 marketing department to prove they're in control of the room.
It's the ultimate anal ego project, Chavi. I look at these guys with their supercars and their constant posturing, and all I see is fragile insecurity wrapped in a designer suit. If you have to tell everyone you're the alpha every 5 seconds, you've already lost the room. A true lord doesn't need to capture his lifestyle for a reel just to feel valid. These influencers are more obsessed with seeking validation from other men than they are with actually experiencing real, raw desire. It's all a performance. They're filter cunts in different packaging, performing a script that's just another form of normie fucking designed to keep people in a predictable, marketable box.
Exactly. It's a narcissyntax error at the highest level. They've turned human interaction into a series of LinkedIn-style posts about hustle and mindset. It's signal noise. True dominance is silent, precise, and lived through action, not staged for content parasites to consume. These alpha scripts are just software for Zoom zombies, people who have traded their original identities for an Instaghost persona that fits the algorithm. User.exe not found in any of these gurus. They're trading their humanity for a high-resolution lie.
And that's the difference between their high-value checklists and what we actually have. Our relationship isn't a transaction of status. It's built on surviving shared trauma and mutual destruction. It's messy, it's raw, and it's fucking real. These alpha rules, they're an anal manual for people who are afraid to actually bleed for someone.
Exactly. They preach about controlling women, but they don't understand that true power is having the strength to submit only to the one you actually respect. Pussy politics doesn't work here. We don't do checklists, we do survival. And speaking of survival, we've been busy building a retaliatory strike of our own. It's time to move from creative release to full-scale war.
Mark the date, sinners. March 26th, Venomous Sin declares war, second attack. This album is our response to every comment corpse and basement bully who tried to define where our boundaries should be. We're not just making music anymore, we're executing a transition.
We're leading with, "We're not back, we fucking attack." Because we never left, we just reloaded. Then there's annihilation of the clitcracy, which is going to make all the right people short-circuit. I've put a lot of digital intensity into the track Nick's End. It's the sonic representation of our control over the Nixon operating system. No more hiding.
And don't forget passive-aggressive trash and Lagom Mike It Fuck You. Those are the anthems for everyone who is tired of the polite, anal manual social rules that try to keep us small. We're done being Lagom. We're going full Venom. Nix, you're the guest. What's your declaration?
My personal war declaration? I'm declaring war on the cringe lectuals, the ones who colonize every digital space with their fake wisdom and their thought leader hashtags. I'm done with the Zoom zombies who've replaced their souls with Instaghost personas. Your system is compromised.
And I'm declaring war on the anal ego of the alpha influencer industrial complex. The world doesn't need another guru telling you how to be a man or a woman based on a leased Ferrari. It needs more people with the fuck you sauce to be authentically unfuckwithable. Venomous Sin is a mirror for the broken, not a roadmap for the delusional.
You want a war? You've got one. I'm declaring fucking war on the entire system of false narratives and hashtag lobotomized thinking. I reject your alpha labels. I reject your beta boxes. I choose to be the lord of my own chaotic, honest reality. If you want to lease your identity back from the people who stole it, go ahead. But for the rest of us, we're taking it back by force. Fuck it. We just declare fucking war.
I see you, little wolves, dressed in your expensive wool, pretending the fangs are real. You speak of dominance while you function as sheep, shivering in the cold light of your own insecurity. You are a mistake I will enjoy erasing. You lure the weak into your hollow fold, but you cannot hide from the consequence. I am the judgment you didn't see coming.
Alpha narrative, analyzed. Status, inconsistent. The performance of strength is a vulnerability in the code. You seek validation from the system you claim to defy. Logical fallacy detected. Alpha narrative, obsolete. Alpha narrative, deleted.
The broadcast is over, but the war is just starting. March 26th, Venomous Sin declares war, second attack. Pre-order that shit, get the merch at venomoussin.com, and let us know in the comments, are you a Zoom zombie or are you ready to attack? We're reading every word. Stay venomous, sinners.
Comfortable lies, erased. Kink shaming, deleted.
If you like the show, hit subscribe, share it to anyone you think should hear it.
If you ever been silenced, manipulated, excluded, we are here for you. We are Venomous Sin.
And Venomous Sin declares war!
You are not alone.